Hey everybody, welcome back for episode 6 of Building Mournstell. Now this is the unofficial official part 2, but it is episode 6. And so today we're going to be going over all the interiors and all the extra stuff we built around the church in this episode. So anyways, let's get on with the title screen and on with the video. Alright, so here we are, and I'm sure you remember this gate for the first level of Mournstell going into the main village, but here we are, and I'm going to go through each of these buildings so you can see the interior and what I did. Now, of course, a lot of them have added chimneys and stuff like that, so a little bit of extra details thrown in there to make it look more realistic. But going into this first one, you can see here we have the beds and the living room and the living quarters kind of together. And then slipping through this other room, we also have the kitchen. Now, this is a very condensed, small home, but once again, most of the homes in this village are very small. They're not meant to be large. They're meant to be kind of cramped and stuffy and full of stuff, and everything is kind of in one general area. But once again, I just kind of like the way it turned out. It's kind of cozy. You know, yeah, you sleep in the living room, but that's okay, because if you're the only one there, it doesn't matter. And you can see I added the chimney here using some diorite blocks. I think it came through really, really well. And I kind of made the chimneys kind of twisty-turny just to kind of mess with the style a little bit. But now, this is the general goods store. And you could see here, I put my all into the interior design of this one, and I think it really shows. I tried to mix everything. I mean, we have brooms, we have sickles, we have scythes, you know, stuff like that would help with the farming. We have herbs, we have general goods, seasonings, we have fertilizer, we have leather, we have tunics, netting for the fish. I mean, we have everything inside this general goods shop, and you can see from this view, it's just absolutely I think it just came out really, really well. We have a giant rug going through the middle. We have fishing, like I said, the nets. We have cages for crabs and things like that. And like I said, I really like the way it came out. Going into the second room here, we have just kind of a storage area. And this is where they would store some extra supplies so they can bring it out to the front whenever it is needed. And it just ties the build kind of together. And then in this very back room, we have a potion room. Now, this could be used for creating specific scents, for fishing lures, like some that may be waterproof, to help attract certain fish in the area or things like that, or just simply perfumes to kind of, you know, make your home smell a little bit better. But I really like the way that general goods came out. It just looks so cool, and it just mixes so well with the build, and I love it. Here we are going into this other small house, and once again, you can see the kitchen, the dining room are just right smack dab as soon as you walk in. They're right there. And you can see this little trap doors wall that I put here. If you go into that, that is where the actual bedrooms are. And I really like the way it came out. Like I said, it's cramped, but it's supposed to be, and it looks really, really good in my opinion. But also, it's a different style for me, so it could be better. I have no doubt about that. If you have any tips or anything, let me know in the comment section below on how I can make these interiors better. I would be more than happy to listen to them and do my best to, you know, follow them. Here we have another home. This one has kind of a larger kitchen. It has a fairly sized furnace place, and then we have the bedroom right here, just as soon as you come into the doorway to the right. And 2 beds, 2 dressers, a little bit of a wash basin, and that's it. And once again, very small. Now, that one was a diagonal house, so it was a little harder to work with, but I'm building more diagonal homes in order to get better at building the interiors of them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on up to the second level and get on with the interiors of this part. Alright, so as moving into these homes, you can see we're going to go through the interiors, and I did change a lot of the roofing to make it look more weathered, but you'll be able to see that again whenever we fly over. But you can see right here we have a small little like cabinet pantry thing going on, and it's just small, compact, has 1 item in there, but that's okay. Pretend there's more. We also have this kitchen. There's little tools there to keep the fire going, keep the coals, you know, hot and warm, and keep that air flowing through it. And we have these stairs kind of right in the middle of the dining area, but when you go up, you can see we just have a small little area there for some extra belongings, and then we also have the bedroom. Now, this one, once again, is kind of smaller, but we have a beautiful view to the outside from the second story. We have 3 beds, a chest, and some dressers. Simple, nothing crazy, but the way it came out is kind of cool. And then we're going to go down here, and this is going to be our access to the backyard area. Remember, it was fenced in from the first video, so this is the way you're going to get in here. So they have a small little farm area. They have some supplies and things like that all around this, and a small little bench right by the door. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop on over that gate, and we're going to go into this house. Now, this is my favorite house of the entire village. But you can see here, as soon as you walk in, we have the living room and the kitchen. I mean, that's just kind of like the basic theme for this village. But we have, shelving, we have herbs hanging, we have, I really tried to make the kitchen a little bit of a different style. We have a grill over the fireplace, and what we're going to do here is, this is one of my favorite parts, of course, is we have a loft, right? So instead of having its own separate room, I just put the beds up here. So they are just hanging out. This is where they would sleep, a nice little loft that, has easy access to everything. And I just love the way that it came out. I think it was really, really cool. I've never built a loft like that, but it came out, decent in my opinion. We have this family is also a leather trader, so he's skins animals and stuff like that, and he does it right there in the comfort of his backyard. But then, of course, going right in here, we have the cellar, and just simple. Got some kegs. Right, we have a little bit of wine, we have some fish and some eggs and some bread, and I just like the way that it came out. That's why this house is my favorite, because that one little section has so much detail and layers into it, and I just think it really came out well. And I couldn't be more proud of that one. It is my favorite. I have to be biased. But of course, going into this home as well, we have a very large kitchen. I'm talking like this is massive, and it's also high as well. We have a very large fire pit, and it's instead of 1 block wide, it's 2, and it just adds for a more homely feel. But going through this door, we're going to go into the actual bedroom, and it's kind of like a loft again. Not as nice looking in my opinion, but it's still here. We have the dressers, we have the bed, we have everything that we need. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one last thing I have tucked away. It's a small little secret, and these are going to be kind of all around the world. You remember this well from the last video, right? Yeah, so what we're going to do is we are just going to take a little dive in here, and boop, there we go. So you see that little light at the end of the tunnel? That's where we're going to go. And you can see here we have a hanging corpse, we have some stalagmites and stalactites and all that good stuff, and we're going to have a buried treasure underneath in this area of the well. Now, once again, the entire world of El Morn is going to have caves, wells like this, or dried up wells. Like, it's going to have secret pockets that are going to have lore. It's going to have little hidden locations all throughout the world. And whenever this does go out for download, I hope that you do not go into spectator mode and just fly all around. I'm hoping you actually go into adventure mode and just explore this world for exactly what it is, a thriving, bustling, alive world, built inside Minecraft. And of course, last but not least, we're going to go to the actual chapel. Once again, shout out to Course for this. It's a great idea, and it really came together. So as soon as you walk in, we have the small foyer area, but you could see straight on ahead, we have the actual church itself. Now, this is a very old-fashioned, kind of antique-like church, but I still think it came out really, really well. And I really like the wood rails that we put up along the side here, to where you could still kind of see through them, but you can't see. It's like minor privacy, but it really looks pretty cool. We got scroll racks, books, extra storage, things like that, just kind of all over the place here. Here we have a small storage room behind where the pastor or bishop or whatever, the preacher, we'll just say preacher, would sit. Or the man of cloth, that's actually a better term. And here's, of course, a book he would read out of. Now, pretend it's not enchanted, but it's the way that I got it to look best, so we'll just roll with it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go on this side of the church once again, and I'm going to show you once again another little area that's here. Now, this would have a man of the cloth, who is usually big and possibly armed, guarding this area. And the reason why is whenever we go down, you are going to see that this is where the money is. This is where the church keeps its riches. So what this ministry does is they do hoard a lot of the money of Mournstell. And any travelers coming through can pay for certain rights and blessings and things like that from the church. This area does have a larger influence over the general area. This church has a lot of influence over the general area, and so people would come and they would pay money for a blessing of safe passage or things like that, or and the church just hoards it. Here we have another small storage area, and we're going to go all the way up. Now, it's not my best attempt in the world. I mean, I tried, but this is supposed to be the bell, and we have the small little chain here we would pull and make the bell, ding ding, for morning service, or when someone is passed, or when someone is getting married. It would ring for a lot of reasons, actually. But we're going to go back down, and then I'm going to show you the overall theme around the church itself. Now, coming out of the door, we're going to hang a right, and you can see these pillars with the wood and the decoration. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. But the reason being is so there's 4 of these, and each of these signify a rite of passage, both in death and in beginning. So you would take this path once someone has passed, or if people are getting married, they would take that same path to the right. They would never go to this left side here. They would always go on that right-hand side. But I'll show you this real quick. We have a couple storage areas here. We have this small area for hay, and then, of course, we have another storage area with some kegs and some wine, stuff like that. So the whole point of that right-hand side, though, is once again to embrace life and death, or new beginnings and the end of beginnings, right? So, and this is kind of where this ties in. So we're going to go up here, and you're going to see that it's filled with jars and pots and all this kind of stuff. And it's meant to have a essence of beauty, but simplicity. And what happens is when someone passes, they throw their ashes. They're cremated, and they burn the ash. They throw the ashes into the ocean. You can see this is actually supported, but they would cremate them and throw their ashes to the ocean. And it's according to the religion and according to the gods in which they serve. That's how death is to be. You are to be gone from the physical presence, but then added to the earth as a whole, right? But this is the flyover of Mournstell, and its beauty and simplicity. It is completely done. This village is over, and besides Dirkshire, this is the only village I've completed in the world. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry if my voice is in and out. I'm still not feeling good, but either way, I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get on with the next project. But this is, of course, the Legendary Porpoise signing off. Have a good day and happy gaming.